Hey, welcome in. We're back. Stacey King back off an extended road trip, and we're ready for a brand new episode of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. Stacey, what are you gone? About 10, 12 days? What was that like for you?
Mark, I lost count of how many days we were gone, but it was a very successful trip.
It sure was.
We could have, we could have stole that one in Houston, had a chance, didn't get that offensive rebound, would have had an opportunity to close the game out, last second shot. And we didn't do it, but it was okay. We played a very good Houston team that's favored to go pretty deep in the playoffs. And then Utah, it looks like they're doing some things, trying to lose on purpose.
Sure. A lot of teams doing that now.
and we kind of in the first half, we kind of played to the level of competition a little bit. We were throwing the ball around and we're up there like, come on now. You got to take advantage of these games here. They are trying to give you the game. You don't want to play like them. So they ended up getting it right and righting the ship. And, not having Josh Giddey those first couple of games, had we had him in Houston, we might have won that game, and then, against the Phoenix Suns, Booker always seems to have great games against us. Durant carried him in the first half, and then Booker came on late and carried him. I mean, they both were phenomenal. They're Hall of Famers, So, I mean, and that was a game we should have won. So we easily could be 5-1. We could have easily won 6-0, but we'll take 4-2.
So what have you been up to the last couple of weeks?
Well, hearing Stacey's gripes, but besides that,
what am I griping about?
Hey, just a little bit of things. Just a couple of things I can't talk about on the air.
Oh, my God. Oh, Lord.
See what I mean? That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, it's a bad phone, baby. Oh, I got to turn it off.
But just, working a lot, preparing for the takeovers, just breaking necks, cashing checks.
Yeah.
And moving on to the next phase.
Yeah, we've been recording these episodes during the afternoon for the last few months, but our guy Cisco's on spring break, so D is in here. We're back at night. We got food on the pool table and then beer in the glasses. So
that's right. Cheers, Mark.
It's a little bit different show at night,
We're back.
Stacey's not imbibing, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's tough out here, America. These late nights, they get to you after a while. Listen, the travel. We went to some nice places. Weather was nice, but I mean, there was a couple places we got in at 2:30, 3 in the morning, like back-to-back nights. It was a grind, and then you beat the Lakers, on a Saturday night. And we stayed the night, so everybody was taking advantage of that Saturday night of being in L.A. So, I was over at Manhattan Beach with some of my friends, and I didn't get in until late. Matter of fact, I don't even think I even went back to my room. I just think I went straight to the plane. So,
you want to give some details or no?
No, Mark. I got to keep it.
Well, I don't have
to. I don't have to keep happy home.
Did you go to the poop deck?
I'm solo right now, baby. I'm solo. I'm a solo artist. What's that?
Were you at the poop deck, Manhattan Beach?
No, we were at some bar right by the ocean. It's like, God, I wish I remember.
So all wood.
My boy Tony Martin. Shout out to Tony, who played with me at University of Oklahoma. He knows all those little hot spots.
Yeah.
So he came and took me, and we had a good time. It was a good time. Just getting out of the hotel. The weather's nice.
Nice.
The weather was nice in Houston, Phoenix, L.A. A little cold in Utah. But the sun was shining. What else? So Sacramento. Sacramento's a little cold because it's a little colder in Northern California than compared to Southern California. But like I said, we were there on business. We won 4-2. It's a good trip for this team. Confidence booster. That Laker game, I think if you would have took a poll, Mark, of how many people thought the Bulls were going to win that game, I guarantee you the only people thought would be the Bulls players.
Yeah, because LeBron came back from injury that night. You'd think he'd be highly motivated.
Well, you had LeBron back. Luka was back. Luka played like Luka. But, I mean, Austin Rivers had a good game. I mean, LeBron, it seemed like he was just kind of going through the motions for 3 quarters. And then, at the end, I think he was just trying to reach double figures because it looked like he wasn't going to reach double figures at that time. And they just were like rocked. The one thing about this Bulls team, and, I was talking about it earlier today, on the Score Radio, is that, this team, the way they're able to push the ball and run and continue to play at this pace is running teams into the ground. And they're not just running wild. They're not just running just to be running. They're running with a purpose. And, when Giddey's the head of the snake, Lonzo's the head of the snake, those two guys do a great job of getting everybody involved and getting to the ball where they're able to score efficiently. When those guys are out the lineup, it's a grind, because some guys just don't have the vision and the court feel that those two guys, Giddey, since the All-Star break, is attacking. He's getting downhill. He's putting so much pressure on the opposing teams just by himself, which is giving wide open jumpers to Kobe. All the guys are getting, Modest is playing, getting open shots and dunks. And it's a big difference, you look at his numbers, the last 5 games there, you see 22, 10. This is a guy, and said this today. This is a guy that's going to float around with a triple double his whole career, because not only is he 6'8", he rebounds like a small forward. The assists are going to be there and the points are going to be there. It's normally when you talk about a triple double, it's the rebound. Can a point guard rebound? You saw, Russell Westbrook, who the last guy who did it. One thing that separated him, he could rebound the basketball from the point guard spot at 6'3", 6'4". This kid is 6'8". He goes in and snatches boards on the defensive boards, and that helps your team because the Bulls are not a really, solid defensive rebounding team. Early in the year, they were giving up a lot of second chance points up until the All-Star break, basically. And now this kid comes out there, he's rebounding, he's taking pressure off people, he's taking pressure off Vooch and whoever's playing the power forward, whether it be Modest or, Julian Phillips or, Patrick Williams. He's helping out now, and they're able to get those boards and limit second chance opportunities.
Yeah, and Giddey almost had a quadruple double in Los Angeles. He had 8 steals to go along.
Oh, well, that's how bad the Lakers were throwing the ball around.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just throwing the ball around. It's like, Stevie Wonder could have played, and he probably had 8 or 9 steals. I mean, that's how bad it was. I mean, they did not take care of the ball at all. And Josh has become a much better defensive player here in the second half than what he was in the first half. The first half, he was like a traffic cone. I mean, he was getting beat off the dribble. Teams were picking on him, putting him and Vooch in the pick and roll at the same time. And both of those guys struggled in the defensive area. Now, give Josh credit. He has really worked on his positioning on the defensive end, using his size and his length as a helper. Where now he can back off a step off a quicker guy and still be able to contest shots, still be able to move his feet and stay and use his 6'8" frame to deter guys from getting to the basket. Before, he was trying to get up on guys, and he just doesn't have the foot speed to be able to do that. But the way he's playing now, he's playing with a lot of confidence. He's healthy, and he's really, really playing out of his mind right now.
It's really amazing how the team has changed since the trade of Zach LaVine to Sacramento. You see the numbers that Giddey's been putting up. Kobe White, back-to-back Eastern Conference Player of the Week, and it hasn't been done since the days of Michael Jordan, where a Bulls player would get back-to-back honors like that. He's averaging almost 30 points a game in the month of March and shooting 50% from the field. And the way he gets to the basket now is really something to watch. He's really increased his free throw attempts, which is really the next step in him being your primary scorer.
Well, and that's what I've been saying about him. Before, he relied so much on his shooting threes, getting up as many threes as possible. But to be a scorer in this league, like a James Harden and these guys, that are Bradley Beals and Bookers, to be a high volume scorer, you have to get to the foul line. All the great players get to the foul line 8 to 10 times a game.
LeBron,
Giannis, LeBron, Luka. These guys get to the foul line, and you have to go to the basket, because if you don't, then if you're struggling from the 3-point shot, or you're struggling with your jumper outside, you have no other way to manufacture points.
Right.
So now he's starting to figure it out, like, oh, you know what? I'm fast enough. I'm strong enough. And you would think after he dunked on Wemby and he's dunked on some other people in this game, he's a big guard. He's 6'5", and he's really solid. So there is no reason for him not to put the ball and go to the basket and draw fouls. Now, I will say this about Kobe, and I said this today. Kobe's been asked to do a lot of different roles here since his rookie year. If you go look at Kobe's resume, Kobe had games where he had scored 30, 28, 25 points as a rookie. So he gave you a glimpse of what he could do offensively. But his roles have changed every year. Going into his second year, I think that was the year that, we brought in, all the new guys, and, he got hurt with the torn labrum. So he didn't go have any kind of training camp. He didn't get to work out in the summer. He didn't work on his ball handling, and he was behind. He had to get behind Lonzo Ball, Caruso, and there were so many people that he had to, try to fight and get minutes for.
Yeah.
Ayo had already made the ascension now as being one of the guys coming off the bench. So he didn't pout. He didn't cry. He just waited his turn. People were yelling, trade him. Oh, trade him. We can go back and look at the show where people trade him. He should be traded. He's no good, blah, blah. He's a bust. And then the third year he comes out and he starts to, find another role. He's going to be a scorer off the bench. So he's been asked to do a lot of different things, and he's never wavered from who he is as a person. He's never pouted. He's never blamed anybody for his lack of playing time or lack of playing the position that he wants to play. He's just roll with the punches. Whatever's best for the team, I'm going to do. And you got to commend him on that. And now he's being rewarded. He's worked on every aspect of his game. When they said he wasn't a good defensive player, he worked on his defense. When they said he couldn't dribble, he went and got Johnny dribble too much and spent the last 3-4 summers working on his ball handling. And now he's an elite guard. If you saw some of the things he did on this West Coast trip, especially in that Denver game, his step throughs, his shot fakes, and being able to step to the basket was amazing. Like his footwork, getting inside. He's got the the Euro step down. He's got up and unders. I mean, he's got the necessary tools to be a consistent 24, 25 point a game scorer. And I've said all along, you can go back and look at all the podcasts. I've always said he's a better two guard to me than he is a point guard. Because now you take that responsibility away from him as a point guard, saying you have to get this guy involved before you look for your own offense. Now you say, go get it. And he'll go out there and get you 25 or 30 points. Now, I think the big thing for him, Mark, is consistency. He's got consistency now. And a lot of people say, well, you're not playing anybody. You're playing the bottom feeders. Doesn't matter. You're still playing NBA players. But he's got to do that against the elite teams. When you start playing these elite teams like next season, he's got to be that guy that you can count on every single night to get you 25 points a night and do it efficiently.
You were just leading me to my next question. So many Bulls fans are saying, yeah, but he's putting up these numbers, but who are they playing? A lot of teams are tanking. They're not highly motivated. Hey, you go out and try to score 30 points in an NBA game. And, you look at people are saying, well, you can't win a championship if you don't have a transcendent star. Well, who's to say that Kobe White can't be what Anthony Edwards is to the Timberwolves or Devin Booker is to the Suns? Maybe he's not quite at that level, but he is a scoring guard that can get you 25 a night.
Here's the thing, Mark. That myth now that you need superstars to win a championship is getting ready to start to be disintegrated. Okay, because now what it seems like where you're going is you're getting chemistry. People have gotten away from chemistry. Because chemistry wins championships. If your guys like playing with each other and they're playing for one another, you can accomplish anything. You go back to that Detroit Pistons with Larry Brown's team. There wasn't a clear-cut superstar on that team. There was a bunch of guys out there that were very good players. I mean, Chauncey Billups, they picked him off the scrap heap. He'd been cut. You had Rip Hamilton who hadn't reached his potential yet. Rasheed Wallace was volatile and was up and down. Everybody knew he was going to be a great player.
Knucklehead. He was a knucklehead.
Oh, well, anyway, this guy just jumps in. Where's that little dog collar shocker so I can shock him, America? So, and Ben Wallace was a defensive player, but they had a bunch of guys that were kind of thrown on the scrap heap. They won because they had great chemistry and they defended. And I'm telling you, you don't need three superstars. Would it be nice to have them? Yeah, it'd be nice to have them. I mean, look at the Lakers. You got Luka, you got LeBron. LeBron's at the end of his career now, so the torch will be passed to Luka. You got Austin Reeves out there now, who's clearly ascended as the number 3 guy. If guys don't know their roles of who the number 1 and number 2 guy is, you're going to have a problem. And what AK has done has been unconventional. I said today on Twitter, they need to give I said on the radio, they need to give AK his flowers because what he's done is unconventional. No one has ever done this. I've always said this. I've always said, forget the draft unless you know you're going to get a Cooper Flag or someone in that high of a draft pick. Draft picks are unpredictable. It's like the lottery. You buy a ticket, you hope to win, and you don't win. Money wasted. You could have went and let it rain somewhere with the money and you lost. But it's the same thing in the NBA draft. You draft a kid and you say, okay, we believe in this kid. We think he's going to be a great player. Well, he could be a great player in 3-5 years. Takes a while to develop. Or he could be a bust after 5 years. You'll know what that player is going to be after probably year 2. You're going to know what kind of player you're going to have. But what I'm saying is it takes longer for those guys to develop. What AK has done is unconventional. I guarantee you're going to start seeing teams do this. Is now saying, okay, screw the draft. I'm going to go to Orlando's bench. They got a 22-year-old kid. He's got 100 starts on his resume. He's had some relative success. We can get him cheap. Boom, bring him on our team. Because now you bring that 22-year-old kid on your team. 10 years ago, that would have been a senior coming out of college, and he still would have been raw. Now you get a 22-year-old who's been in the league since he was 18, who's been in there 4 years. He's got 4 years of NBA experience where he's played games, he's started games, and he's had relative success. Now you're adding that guy on your roster who's 4 years ahead of any kind of college player you're bringing, unless it's like a generational talent like a Cooper Flag. But you can see it's working out so far.
And the stars don't always come from the top 5 picks. The Bulls got one that might be a future star in Modest Buzelis. That move he made on Luka. Now, Luka's a doorstop in terms of defense, but between the legs, behind the back, and then goes and dunk it.
Listen,
that he's going to be showing his boys that for years
Let me
to
tell you
come.
something. He's been doing that since he's been in the lineup. Honestly, the only person that could stop Modest this year was Billy. Billy's the only one that could stop him. Billy didn't play him a lot in the first half of the season. Kid was only playing 9 minutes. They didn't feel he was ready, and that's the coach's choice. But you see now, if you go and look at his minutes, when he gets minutes, this kid puts up numbers. He's arguably the Bulls' best perimeter defender. He leads the team in blocks. He's everywhere as far as defense is concerned. So, and that's one of the areas Billy said he needs to work on. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, are we talking about the same kid? But this kid has just the utmost confidence in himself.
And his handles at 6'10".
Yes. Listen, people, I'm telling you, like this kid, if he continues to ascend, like I think he can, you're looking at a future star here. Okay, and here's what you're building. Okay. This is where AK and them's vision is. We just had him on the show a couple weeks ago. They got a young team. Okay, they didn't have to spend a lot of money on all these guys. Eventually, you're going to have to pay Kobe. You're going to have to pay Josh Giddey this summer. That's a normal thing you're going to have to do. But some of these guys are locked into a contract that's going to be affordable. They're going to be able to re-sign them to affordable contracts. Okay, so we got the third or fourth youngest team in the NBA right now. Okay, we were the sixth youngest team before the season even started. Now we even got younger after the break. So now you're going into next year. If the way they're going, they may not get a first round pick. I mean, be honest, they may not get a first round pick. They may get a number 15. It'll be 15. It won't be a lottery pick. They'll fall completely out of the lottery. So that could happen because this team is playing that well right now. They could easily slip into the 7th spot and be in the playoffs. And that pick goes down to 15. Will there be quality at 15? Yeah, there's always quality at 15. They just have to make the right pick. And what is the need at that time? Who's the best available player on the board? But my point is that you're gearing up, as AK said, for 2026 when they're going to have a lot of money. And there's a guy down in Milwaukee who now you got Dame Lillard out with the blood clot. It could be out for the whole season. Right. Now that's going to hurt their team.
They're going to be out in the first round.
They're going to be out in the first round. Yeah. And so now you're going to have an unhappy Giannis who's already been hinting towards he wants to be in a big city subliminally for the last few years. Okay. Now you're right up the road to Chicago. Okay. You're not going to go to L.A. and play with Luka. You're not going to go, to New York and be on the Thibodeau team. So Chicago or Miami, you're going to when these guys become free agents, they're going to look at teams and say, okay, where's my best chance to win in a big city? You look at that Bulls roster, and they're saying, wait a minute, they got a really nice roster. They got a good point guard in Giddey. They got Kobe White or whoever. He's going to look at that roster and say, now if I come on this team and bring what I bring to the table, that automatically elevates us. And that Bulls team now has played 2 years and got more experience together, very similar to the Brooklyn Nets when they were able to get Kevin Durant and they were able to get, Kyrie and those guys, and they all wanted to go play on that team because they liked the young talent around them and they didn't have to lose anybody. That's going to be the same situation the Bulls are going to be in. So, Bulls Nation, I'm telling you right now, just if you haven't seen this team play, I've been saying this, if you haven't seen this team play since the All-Star break, you're missing out. Go get you an antenna. Go whatever you got to do, stream it. Whatever you got to do, go watch it. We'll be on TV. Eventually, we're going to be on TV and everybody will be able to see us. But right now, I'm telling you, go watch this team play. They're fun. They're exciting. This is the best basketball they've had in a long, long time. And I guarantee you, once you watch them one time, you're gonna be hooked.
I don't know if either of you guys caught LeBron James on Pat McAfee. They played that extended interview today, and he said a lot of things that were kind of crazy. But he said that again, disparaging the older guys. He said that if Giannis was playing in the Jordan era, he would average 250 points a game.
Get out of here!
I mean, out of here! Saying that physically superior, more athletic, nobody could have stopped him. It's like, when is this ever going to stop?
The problem with LeBron, the problem with LeBron is he has rabbit ears. He's very like he's almost narcissistic. Okay.
Oh, he is.
And so almost. I don't even want to call nobody that.
He's there.
But what I'm saying is like he's so caught up in chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he knows he'll never get there.
And he'll never get there because he's not respected like that.
Yeah.
See, a guy doesn't have to tell you they're great. Michael never walked around. Will Chamberlain never. Bill Russell, the great players, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, the great players let the fans decide who's the best.
Yeah.
They let the media. They never had to go pay the media to tell them something. You didn't get your own media team to promote you, self-promote you. They didn't do that. Their play determined if they were great. This guy, he's constantly self-promoting. He, he's again, he's a great player, not to take anything away from him. But if I was starting a team, I wouldn't pick him to start a team with. I'd take Kobe before I took him. I want a guy that I can count on that's going to show up, that's not going to, I got to take 2 weeks off because I got a growing pull. You've never heard Kobe Bryant say, I need to take time off. If Kobe was alive right now and the way this league is playing right now, first of all, I guarantee you players wouldn't be playing the way they're playing because he's so well respected that they know, like, the Mamba mentality. A lot of these guys don't have the Mamba mentality. The best availability is, what's that saying? The best availability.
Best ability is availability.
Yeah, the best ability is availability. These guys show up and play when they want to play. The season's too long. Oh, I need 2 weeks off. I don't like the way the schedule is. Well, you know what? This is your job. This is the easiest job in the world. This is a kid's game. Most of us come from parents that had to work their hands to the bone to be able to send us to AAU events, personal coaches. They made sacrifices within our families to get us to where we need to go. You owe it to your family. You owe it to your legacy of your family, your mom, your dad, the grandparents before them who paved the way for you by hard work. You owe it to them to show up and give a hard day's work every day. You're playing a kid's game. You're not working as a factory worker. You're not working 40, 80 hours a week, trying to make ends meet. You're shooting the ball through the hoop. You're staying in 5-star hotels. You drive $1 million cars, stay in $1 million homes. How hard is that? How hard is that? That's why I get so upset when I hear guys like him talk about, what they could have done. Well, he would have averaged 250 points a game. Get out of here. First of all, no one would have guarded Giannis. Number one, he'd had to become a jump shooter. He would not, after he got knocked on his head a few times by Lambeer and all these guys, trust me, and I like Giannis. Giannis would have had a hard time going back to the basket. When have you ever seen this era someone give a hard foul?
No.
They don't even know what a hard foul is in this league. They don't know. They don't understand what it feels like to get an elbow in the face, 3 elbows in the face by 3 different players at the same time. They don't understand to get clotheslined and thrown to the floor, and that's a regular foul. You blow on a guy in this league, it's a flagrant. If you hit anybody above the neck, they got to look at it. It's a flagrant 1, flagrant 2. They have no idea what hard fouls are. They don't have no idea what team defense was. The guys are geared to stop you. Read the Jordan rules. If these guys want to really get a glimpse of what it was like for Michael Jordan, read the Jordan rules. Read how Detroit, solely and New York Knicks had game plans to stop this guy no matter. We don't care what anybody else does. This guy can't beat us. And he's getting beat up.
Bad Boys 2020.
Yeah, just getting beat up and attacked and every single night, and then coming the next day to practice after playing 40-plus minutes and getting his butt kicked, and we're winning games. He never missed a practice, didn't sit out. I played 40 minutes last night, and I'm just going to sit over and drink coffee and smoke a cigar. There was none of that. Michael, and I've always said this, your best players have to be your hardest working players, not talking about how hard they work.
Right.
They have to come to every single day and set an example for every single player on that team, every person in that organization to get the respect. Okay, if your hardest workers is your number 1 and number 2 guy, everyone else will follow. If your top players are not your hardest workers, no one's going to follow them. And you're setting a bad precedent for the younger kids coming up because they're like, well, he's not doing it. I'm not doing it. He's not coming to work every day and working hard, so why should I?
You mentioned one of the stops on the trip was in Sacramento. I don't know if you got a chance to talk to either Zach or DeMar, but I watched the Kings yesterday, and they looked really disjointed and, kind of lifeless. And then Zach afterwards said there's bad vibes in the locker room. And that's got to kill him because, he's been criticized for not being a winning player. Then he goes to Sacramento. And they had a nice stretch when they made the coaching change initially, but now they're kind of teetering on missing the play-in completely. And Zach is not getting the shot attempts that you would think that he would get. It's just weird, that whole dynamic there. It's like take your turn offense, and he's in a bad situation again.
Kind of the same situation he was here when we had both him and DeMar. Alternating, isolation. Here's the problem with Sacramento. Okay, the owner is like Jerry Jones.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to tell you to play. Listen, man, you pay your general manager, you pay your coaches a lot of money to make decisions and let them, they're basketball people, Um, he's making decisions. They don't know who's running the team. I heard Sabonis say, who's running the team? We don't know who's running the team.
Yeah.
You fire Mike Brown, coach of the year, because the players were complaining that he demanded too much of him, of them, work hard, hustle, play hard. That was too hard. They didn't want to hear that kind of coach.
And they traded De'Aaron Fox.
Yes, and De'Aaron Fox was like, I'm gonna get out of here, man. The ship's sinking. I see.
Sinking, yeah.
I got my life jacket on. I see the iceberg coming. Before they do, I'm getting off. Okay. So you go, and I like Doug Christie. I think Doug Christie is a good coach. I just think that when you're coaching veteran guys, and I said this about the Bulls, when you're coaching veteran guys who are set in their ways. Okay, Billy had a hard time. He'll never admit it. He'll never admit it because he's he's a good guy and he's a good coach. He'll never throw a guy under the bus. But from people who looking from the outside, from people who are looking inside, who's in the inside, it's hard to coach veteran guys because veteran guys get set in their ways. Guys don't want to play defense. Guys don't want to push the ball and run. They just want to run at their own pace and isolate. So then you cater to those guys, okay? So now, and I'm not going to take a shot at DeMar or Zach. Those guys are proven scorers in this league. DeMar's a Hall of Famer. I don't know where Zach's career is going to end up, if he's going to be in that conversation. If he can stay healthy the rest of his career and maybe get some wins, get on a winning team, maybe that'll help him. But I'm not going to take shots at him. But one thing has happened. You traded Zach, and everybody's like, oh, that's the worst trade. We got fleeced. Oh, my God, what is going on? They start blaming AK. Listen, it was hard as hell to try to trade Zach. You were lucky to get back what we got back. Teams were basically holding the Bulls hostage. They were asking for, you give us Zach and you take back our trash.
And give us a first round pick.
And give us a first round pick. You're going to give us a first round pick to take your all-star away. Yeah. A guy that's going to immediately make an impact on your team.
It's all about contracts now.
Exactly. Yeah. So AK was smart. Okay. Call us when you're serious. Click, hang up. And you don't know how long it's going to last. You don't know if they're going to be able to trade him in the trade deadline. You don't know if it's going to be the summer. But they were actively trying to move him. And then they finally got a deal that they thought was fair for them. You're bringing in 3 guys. And this is what I said today. You get rid of Zach. Yeah, you lose a guy who's a dynamic scorer. You lose a guy that can get you 40 points and have huge games offensively. But Zach, on the defensive end, is non-existent. And, and some of the shots that he takes are questionable. Where we label that basketball IQ. That is huge in any kind of sports. You have to have the IQ. Know what's a good shot, know when to pass the ball. Just the feel for the game. And I thought Zach sometimes lacked that. Okay, so now you get back Trey Jones, you get back Kevin Huerter, and you get back Zach Collins. 3 guys who've had success in this league. Okay, maybe not the success that fans are used to seeing because you're saying, oh, these guys don't even play. Zach Collins, first of all, these 3 guys went to 3 prestigious universities, okay, where you already know they got basketball IQ. You got Trey Jones at Duke, you got Gonzaga with Collins, and you got Maryland with Kevin Huerter. Those 3 programs, and they're big-time colleges. So you're already getting 3 guys, not only veteran players that are still young, but guys who know how to play the game, who have a very high basketball IQ. So now you add that to a young team who's been struggling with shot selection and making good decisions on the court, but they're not guys who have low basketball IQ. It's just young and making inexperienced mistakes. Now you add those 3 guys here, and now your IQ goes up. I like it to say when you're in college, you have the grade point average, and you have like the 3 guys that are on the roster that elevate the grade point average. Everybody
right.
That's kind of what they've done with the basketball IQ here. They know how to play. Look at some of the passes that they make, some of the decisions they make. Kevin Huerter, and each one of those 3 guys were important pickups for us, were the guys that we actually needed. We needed Zach Collins because we didn't have any bigs. We were short on bigs. And when Vooch went out and Jalen Smith went out, he was there. He was sitting for like the first 4 or 5 games, didn't get any minutes, okay? Threw him in the lineup. Everybody's like, oh, this guy can't play. This guy, he wasn't even playing at first. Then he's at 18 and 12, 20 and 10. And you're like, oh, my God, this guy can really play. And he can play defense. He has a good feel defensively what the Bulls want to do. And then Huerter, he's our best shooter on the team. By far, he's our best 3-point shooter. He gives us a chance to space the floor legitimately, and he's a guy that you have to game plan for as far as being, even though he came in struggling, you have to game plan for him because his history and his body of work says that he's not going to be in a slump very long, and he's going to hit shots when he gets going. He's going to get it going, and we've seen that. And then Trey Jones, who they brought into the starting lineup last year because they were having a hard time in Wemby's first year of getting Wemby the ball. You had Jeremy Sokan being the point forward. He couldn't pass Wemby the ball, and Wemby's the tallest person on the floor. And so they had to get somebody out there that could at least get them in their offense, get them in some kind of a flow. And then Pop went to him, and then he did a great job for him. He started and did a great job. And then they thought they needed a veteran point guard for Wemby, so they go get Chris Paul. So his role now is diminished. And then once Pop went out, he kind of lost favor with the new coach. The new coach is playing all the people he wanted to play.
Right.
He's playing Castle, who's a good young player. They let him bring the ball up and play some point guard. So Trey kind of got phased out. But everyone in this league, he's well respected. Everyone in this league knows what kind of player Trey Jones is and what kind of player these other two guys are. They're well respected. So that was a big pickup. People are like, oh, you guys got fleeced. And the same thing with Alex Caruso. Oh, you guys got fleeced. You could have got more from Alex Caruso. Okay, let's just look about this year. Forget where it's going to be the next 5 years. Let's look at about it this year. What if we're going to base the trade on this season alone? Because both of them have played. Alex Caruso has missed a lot of games for Oklahoma City with injury. Okay. And that's what he was doing here. He couldn't stay healthy the last couple of years because he plays so hard. He's diving on the floor, Crash Bandicoot. He's always, giving you his effort. And that's where the fans loved him here, But at the end of the day, it's a business. If you're not available to play, it doesn't matter what kind of defense you bring to the table and you're a great defender. If you're not on the floor, who you guarding? Because you're not on the floor. You're basically just in a suit and tie, or you're just sitting on the bench. This kid, Giddey, falls out of favor in Oklahoma City to Shai Gilgeous. Shai Gilgeous ascends to be that superstar player. Giddey struggled against the Mavericks. They basically told him, go find you a team, or you're going to have to take a six-man role. Well, this kid started his first 3 or 4 years there, and he was one of the reasons why their whole organization turned around in the beginning, okay? Now you basically say, well, we got Shai now. And then there's a little off-court situation happened because I'm from Oklahoma, and I heard a lot of stories out there. That off-the-court situation was not good for the team and not good for him. And, like I said, he's 22 years old. He made a mistake as a kid, and you don't crucify the kid. And so they basically said, you find a place or you can accept six-man role. So that's how that trade. Now, if you want to evaluate the trade, I think just off of this year, we won the trade. And I love Alex Caruso. But the Bulls won that trade this year, just off this year. Who knows 5 years from now where it's going to be? Mm-hmm. But, Caruso's on the back end of the 30 now, and this kid's 22 years old. He's floating with a triple-double every single night. How you're not going to win that trade?
And going back to the LaVine trade, one thing that I know a lot of Bulls fans were poo-pooing is like, they got back control of their first-round draft pick. They're like, well, they would have been able to keep it anyway because they're going to finish, well, no, they wouldn't have been able to keep it. And the other thing is, now that they have control of their pick for, the next forever, there's no picks that they owe anybody else. If a guy like Giannis or some other superstar requests a trade, now the Bulls have all their first-round picks. They have guys like Herter and Collins and Io, and not gonna trade Kobe, but guys that are making in that 8 to 15 million trade, you can package up in a deal, and all of a sudden you can offer a really attractive package. If they hadn't gotten control of their pick back, they couldn't have traded future number one.
Nope.
So that was a very important part of that trade.
Yep.
Hey, before we move on to the NCAA tournament, I want to shout out our guy, Adam Amin. He did something that's almost unprecedented in broadcasting last week. You probably don't realize when the Cubs were playing the Dodgers in Japan, the announcers weren't in Japan. Jason Benetti did the first game. Adam did the second. So he had to break off from the trip, fly to a studio in Los Angeles, call the game at would have been 2 a.m. in LA time, and then go back to Phoenix and call a game later that night. What did he say about that? That had to be unbelievable.
Listen, he really didn't say anything. He was asleep. so I can just only imagine what he said. No, I'm just playing. No, you know what? Adam is one of the hardest working guys in this business, and he's so super talented. There's really nothing that he can't do. You know, I mean, he's a jack of all trades. He loves his job. He loves calling games. He loves doing basketball. Basketball is his number one sport. He loves baseball, but you know, eventually he's going to kind of pair off from that because he does need to rest. He said. He said, you know, he's going to have to peel back on some of his duties. But I tell you what, man. I mean, he brings energy no matter what.
Oh yeah.
I
just can't imagine that day. When he's looking at his itinerary going, okay, I got to catch this flight to L.A.
Yeah.
I got to call a baseball game that I've barely had time to prepare for. Later that night, I got to call another basketball.
When he told me he had to go do it, I said, you flying to Japan? And then you're going to try to get back? Because I didn't know that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how in the hell does that work? How far is Japan from? And then you got to get back to Phoenix? And like, that's impossible. You know? Yeah. He goes, no, I got to go to the studio up in L.A. And he said, but it's like, and the night before, when we got to Phoenix, he stayed up till 3:30, 4 in the morning watching the Dodgers
because he had to prep.
He had to prep for it. So he didn't go to bed till like 6 in the morning and then turn around and had to go catch a flight out to L.A. So he had no rest for probably for 36 hours and then have to come back and then call a game that was pretty exciting against the Suns. So, and to have that energy to be able to do that, I tell you what, man, he's a pro, bro. He's a pro.
Yeah. Well, then he DJ'd a rave at 5 a.m., right, after calling the game?
No, he didn't. That's how rumors start. See, that's how rumors start. See, but he does. But you know, he does spin the records.
Yeah.
You know, one like I think
DJ
it was,
Double A.
I said 2 weeks ago. I think he did an impromptu set at a like a little deli restaurant
on the road.
No, here in Chicago. They close. It's like I don't know what the name of it is, but he actually was spinning records in the kitchen. So like he's like it was just an impromptu setup, and he went with another Chicago DJ that's like a famous guy, and they set up their equipment inside. It was like it almost looked like a Subway. You know how a Subway set up?
Yeah.
And so imagine how the Subway set up with the glass table, the glass thing, you know, counters and everything. He's over there, it's just they're playing music, and there were people eating sandwiches, dancing. I was like, is this like a Saturday Night Live skit? Like, is Dave Chappelle or someone going to be popping in there at some point?
Well, last time he was on, he brought that up. He said, someone came up to me and goes, you look just like Adam Amin when he was DJing. It's like, well, that's kind of funny. I am Adam Amin.
I tell you what, though, my hat's off to him. Salute to Adam Amin, the hardest working man in broadcasting. And, of course, Jason Benetti's right behind him.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, it's crazy how hard those guys work and all the success that they have. They certainly deserve it. That was just an amazing story that I heard about that. Also want to salute our guy, Jeff Vukovic, when it comes to taking care of all your insurance needs, auto, home, and business. Make sure you reach out to our guy, Jeff Vuk. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. The phone number 847-825-4783. Did you see Jeff in
Yes, he
Phoenix?
was in Phoenix.
Yeah.
He came up and hollered at me and Adam before the game.
Yeah.
His son was there too, so we got a chance to talk to him for about 15, 20 minutes before the game. And looking tan as ever.
Yeah,
you know,
he looks tan.
Listen, I thought he was a brother at first. I was like, he was that dark. He was darker than me. I was like, damn, who are your name? Tyrone? It was Jeff. I said, Tyrone, how you doing? Oh, Jeff, Stacey. Yeah, but he was tan, man. And he spends the majority of his time out there during the winter months. And so, you know, he's catching all the games out there. You know, the Cubs were out there earlier. And so, but it's good seeing him. It's always good to see him, man. He used to have coached, not my son's baseball team. We played against him, but he was a manager of a baseball team out here for like older guys. You know, kids who just graduating from college or coming back from their college teams, and he's a really good coach.
So contact Jeff for all your insurance needs. Again, the phone number 847-825-4783, and the best jingle in the business, courtesy of Stacey King.
Nationwide is on your side. And tell him Tyrone sent you, a.k.a. Jeff.
Hey, the NCAA tournament going strong. We're in the Sweet 16. Most of the favorites have advanced. We'll talk about that. And baseball season getting ready to go as well. All that's coming up on Gimme the Hot Sauce. It is the best time of the year, March Madness, and Tim's got his computer out already bragging that he's near the top in his pool.
He just filled that out.
How many people are in the pool?
He just filled that out.
No, I just filled it out right.
He just filled it out right now.
You can't do that.
You're
looking right at it.
How many people are in this particular pool that you're talking
His
about?
family?
There's like 40 million in it.
40 million?
Yeah, and I'm ranked at this point 11th million, so it's not that great. But the point is, it's about those
What are you
upsets.
bragging about then?
Most people are well below the 50%. I'm well above it. I'll take it. Hey.
Well, this was a tournament that people said was going to be pretty much chalk, and 7 of the top 8 seeds have advanced to the Sweet 16. The SEC has 7 teams. You know, there's no Cinderella, Stacey. There's no team from a small conference that made it. I know you've been on the road and stuff. I don't know how much you've been able to watch the tournament, but what have you made of what you've seen from the first 2 rounds?
That the portal has been huge and NIL has been huge because a lot. We were just talking about Florida Atlantic, who was in the Final Four last year. Their 3 best players, and these guys were 0 level recruits. They weren't 5-star recruits. They were 0 rated recruits. Go back. If you don't believe me, go back and check. The 3 guys now who were in the Final Four last year, their center is playing for Michigan.
Vlad Golden.
Yes, and he's being a big role there.
I must break you.
Oh, God, if he dies, he dies. And then you got the little guard that's playing at Arkansas. That Arkansas now beat St. John's, which that's a huge upset.
That was a big upset.
Then you got the other guard who's playing in Florida, and Florida looks like the team to beat right now. They're playing at a high level. But like I said, the transfer portal has really shook up college basketball. They've got to listen. I'm always going to be pro player, always, okay. But they got to have some kind of rule now. You can only transfer once,
right?
Okay, one time.
Yeah, I agree.
This leaving every year is, and there when the coaches do it, they go for the highest payment. No, you're still a student athlete at the end of the day, and now you got NIL money. Okay, there's no need to keep like going to the highest bidder every year and leaving your team in a lurch, because it's really destroying the game. I mean, you see guys that are, if you're only able to transfer one time, you're going to use that transfer very wisely. After your freshman year, you're going to go, do I have a chance to play here? Are they going to give me a fair shot? That's when the time you might say I want to transfer and not lose a year. Okay, but to be leaving every single year, there's some kids in this NCAA tournament that's been at 3 or 4 schools. They're going to the highest bidder, and it's like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? They need to put a cap on this NIL. Oklahoma, prime example. Oklahoma's women's basketball team, who's a very good basketball program, okay? They end up getting the #1 high school player in the nation. Yeah. They ponied up $1.5 million in NIL money for her. Yeah. The women's program is not making that kind of money, okay? There's a point guard on Oklahoma's team named Jeremiah Fears, who is an NBA prospect. I guarantee you he's not making 1.5. And he reclassified. He's supposed to be a senior right now, graduating. He's a starting point guard. He's probably
go pro now.
He's probably going to be the SEC Player of the Year, and he may go pro. I don't know if it's a good idea. I think he could use one more year of seasoning. Yeah. But he's got good size. He's 6'3". He's quick. He can shoot the basketball. He's got good floor. Good. And if you're an NBA player, NBA personnel, you're probably going to take that kid in the first round because he's supposed to be in high school right now, and his ceiling has to be super high right now. And a lot of teams who need point guards, his name might be available. And this draft is not as deep as they thought it once was. This is supposed to be a generational draft where, you could have 15 picks be superstar players. They're not looking at it that way now. So he may have a shot to get somewhere in the top 10 if he goes somewhere and he tests well and he does a good interview. He's got a chance of moving into the top 10.
I know a lot of coaches are really upset. The NCAA tournament is going on, and we're recording the show on Wednesday evening. The transfer portal opened up Monday morning. So we're halfway through the NCAA tournament. Teams have just won big games to get into the Sweet 16. They already have to go out and try to recruit kids for next year when they're trying to focus on winning a national championship. I know Tom Izzo was very outspoken saying, what the heck is going on? I was in Milwaukee covering Illinois in their second game. They lost to Kentucky, and immediately Brad Underwood had to answer questions about NIL, the transfer portal, who are you going to get to add to this team? This is like a half hour after their season just ended.
Well, they really should hold off to the portal until the tournament's over.
Yeah.
What are you rushing?
What's the harm? Yeah.
I mean, you got all summer to transfer.
Yeah.
So why not wait till the tournament's over? Because how crazy would this be? If you got a kid that's starting for you right now, you're in the Sweet 16, got a chance to go deep in it, and he's just licking his chops and going to the portal. He's already got a portal deal.
And if it comes out that he's leaving, you're not going to play him.
Exactly. Why would I pay you? You don't want to play. You're not going to play for us. Just sit down. But that's what you have to worry about if you're a coach. It's like, how many of my guys are on my roster right now that are in my rotation that has already got their portal, ready to go? They're ready to just board the portal and go to the next school. That's got to be gut-wrenching, knowing that you get this far. Now you're in the Sweet 16. You got a chance to go deep and get to the finals, and you got to worry about how many guys I'm actually going to lose. You look at the kid that was at Illinois, Coleman. The kid was at Illinois last year that transferred to Kansas State.
Coleman Hawkins.
Hawkins, okay? He's on that team. If he's on Illinois' team this year, they got a chance to go deep, go to the Final Four, okay? He chose to take the money. He chose to take the money. And how did it work out for him? The kid he didn't
bad
play
year.
nowhere near what he was capable of. He got offered $2 million to come to Kansas State because Kansas State had money to give. They couldn't get any elite talent to come there.
Mm-hmm.
So now you say, okay, let's go get this kid. He's experienced, whatever. He was a big part of Illinois. Let's offer him $2 million. And it's like the kid comes there. He doesn't meet the expectations of the fan base or what anybody, the boosters who paid him $2 million. It's like, wait, that was a wasted $2 million, And then he's on TV crying about the pressure of what it's like to have that pressure of having to try to be a go-to guy, getting paid $2 million. Well, Coleman Hawkins, welcome to the real world, son.
Yeah.
You took the money, you
got
won more
paid,
money,
yeah,
you got paid, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But there's certain expectations that come along with these kids who are getting $1 million, $2 million. Think about like Deion Sanders' son, the quarterback. I think he met every expectation, but he was getting paid almost $4 or $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
These kids are getting this big money. They got to go out there and perform like they're Michael Jordan. They got to go out there and perform like they're Tom Brady. They got to go out there and play at a high level and to justify how much they're getting paid. So there is pressure on that,
So you guys have been doing this a long time, and you're seeing these starting lineups come up on the screen. And have you noticed how many are graduated players?
Yeah, because the money's there to
yeah,
stay.
Yeah, but isn't that what is that?
You're not going to go into G League and make 30,
Isn't
40
that
grand if you're
something,
going
though?
to get paid $1 million.
I don't recall
next
seeing
year.
that.
Well, and most of those kids realize they may not get to the NBA.
Right.
They may not ever make this kind of money again. So, like I saw BYU had a guard that's been there. I think he was like 28. He's the same. He might be the same. I think they were saying he's the same age as a little bit older than Luka Doncic.
Wait, he was the coach.
No, he wasn't a coach, man. But BYU they're always going to have older players who they go on those missions or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't even think he went on a mission yet. His mission was to stay in school and get NIL money. And he's like 28 years old, and then he's playing against. And there's an advantage with these older kids because this is what's wrong with the college game now, is that because these college teams, you heard Rick Pitino say it. I heard Calipari said. Calipari was always used to getting the 5-star high school kid.
Yeah.
That unless you're Cooper Flag and you're on that level, they're not recruiting high school kids anymore. They're going in the portal. Why recruit a high school kid? It's going to take me 2 years to develop when I can go get a guy that averaged 24 points at a Division II school that's got good size and he's got, he's had some relative success.
He's
Bring him
24
on my team.
with
He's 20,
2 kids.
He's
hungry.
23. But see, it goes back to Mark when I was playing in the 80s and Kendall and we were all playing in the 80s that coaches didn't want to recruit high school kids. They went to the JUCO route. They always recruited Billy Tubbs, Jerry Tarkanian. They were the kings of the JUCO. They went out and got JUCO players. They didn't recruit high school unless you were an elite talent like myself. And that was the only reason why you would go get a high school kid.
Because you get a guy that's physically mature.
Yes.
Stronger.
So you go out, you go get a Larry Johnson from JUCO.
Yeah.
You go get a Harvey Grant from JUCO, Ricky Grace, Mookie Blaylock. You go get guys that are ready to play and they're 20 years old or 21 years old, and you don't have to wait on a younger kid to develop. So now fast forward into this day and age, it's no different. The difference is now guys are getting paid for it legally. When we were coming, it was illegally. Is there a statute of limitation? I took a pay cut when I came to the league. So I came to the league, I took a pay cut. I just wish I was in an NIL situation.
Yeah.
Because this NIL stuff, man, look at Caitlin Clark. There's no way in the world it would take her about 5 years to playing in the WNBA without endorsements.
Right.
To even come close to even making the 2-year salary if she stayed in school.
Mm-hmm.
She had 1 year left, I think, at Iowa. She could have made upwards to be between $5 and $8 million for one season to stay at Iowa.
She's the exception of the rule because she's going to get all that endorsement revenue.
Yes.
Most women's players are not going to get that.
But here's what I say: if I'm a top player, what I'm going to do is, and I know I'm going to go pro. I know I'm going to be a first round pick. I know I'm going to be a lottery pick. Whatever. I'm staying as long as I can. I'm getting as much money as I can, and then I'm putting it in the bank. I'm never going to touch it. That money is just going to be money sitting there. I'll collect interest. I'll put it in some, low-end stocks and bonds or whatever. And then I'm going pro. And I'm going to use my pro money. I'm going to get my pro money. So when I'm retired, now let's say I play 10 years. You let that money grow 10 years and not touch it. Let's say you put $5 million in there. When you come out, that's maybe doubles, maybe triples, depending on what you put it in and where you have all your money. If you have good financial advisors to help you. That's another thing that people don't know. These kids don't really know about. It's like, you're getting all this money. Yeah, you're signing this deal, but you better get some people to help you manage your money. You better get somebody other than your parents, other than people in your family, because it's not going to work unless your
I'll
parents
take it from you.
Unless your parents are like, there's, accountants, they work in money, you better get you someone that can help you and direct you and guide you to where you put your money and where it will be safe. And when you're ready for it, when you retire from the NBA or the WNBA, after 10 years, 12 years or whatever, you not only made a fortune in the NBA, but you made a fortune in college. And it just adds to generational wealth.
All right, Mr. Brackett, who you got in your Final Four?
All right, let's have a look-see here.
Don't say you got 4 number 1 seats because you lose all respect immediately.
Well, one of them was I had to go with Maryland as a.
Oh, there you go. I like that. They play Florida. That'll be a tough matchup.
Yeah, that is going to be tough. But then I got MSU, Duke, and Houston in this bracket, and the other one I did have St. John's going all the way. And that didn't work out so well. Well, they were one of those, you got to, to win some of these brackets, I only did 3 of them. You got to pick some of these, ones. So the other, if I'm talking about a Cinderella story as far as a lower pick, was also, who else did I take?
Clemson, they lost the first day.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, right.
Yeah. No, Clemson I had beaten that first round. I had McNeese winning.
McNeese, yeah.
Yeah. So.
You got any long shot advice, Stacey, for the folks, or you think it's going to be mostly heavyweights?
Here's my long shot for you. Don't ever play this game again. Don't ever play Marriage Madness again. It's too unpredictable. If you're gonna do it, do multiple, multiple picks.
You got to pick multiple. Yeah, you got to multiple, but you got to pick upsets. You have to pick
the very first one. Pick it how it's supposed to go.
Right.
Then the next one, you pick upsets, and then you take a third one and you go in between. You go in between. In between. Get the ones you think are locks, and then where there could be upsets.
Yeah.
But that's what I now. My teams right now, this is my teams right now. I'm doing pretty good. I'm in the Bulls pool right now.
Yeah.
So I'm in the top 5, which is I need to be. So I got Michigan State coming out, and then Florida. Those two, they're going to play for a trip to the Final Four in the Elite 8. I got them going to the Elite 8.
Yeah.
I got Duke and Houston. Those are my 4 locks to get to the Elite 8. Now, again, if it wouldn't have been for McNeese State beating somebody, Memphis got beat by a 12th seed. I think it was New Mexico.
Yep.
Or New Mexico State. Was it New Mexico?
Yeah.
And then Clemson. And people had Clemson going to the Final Four.
Right. They lost the first game.
And then you had St. John's and Arkansas. There's no way in the world I thought St. John's was going to win because they've been one of the best teams all season long.
How about Patino sitting his best player the last 5 minutes?
You know what? That kid must have did something.
Yeah.
He had to have said something.
There's something going on.
Something happened. I don't know what
Especially
it was.
when they closed the gap.
Because you close the gap to almost a 1-possession game, and you set that kid in the last 4 minutes of that game where he could have came and made a difference. I know he was struggling offensively, but
3 for 18.
But at the end of the day, he's still your best player. And if he can only make
That's
one
the guy
shot,
brought you there,
if he only make one shot, we got to ride with him. And he didn't. So there had to be some personal stuff there. And I guarantee, I don't know if he's a senior. Is he a senior?
I don't know, but
he won't be back.
Yeah,
he'll be in the portal.
With the portal, he's gone.
He's gone. If he could have left when he was on the bench, he would have left on the bench.
He was on his phone.
But here, listen, you don't know what was said or what was going on. And Patino's old school.
Yeah.
You listen to you see some of his videos when he talks to these kids, and he's an old school coach. It's like, hey man, you get what you put into it. If you give me 100%, you're gonna get 100% out. And he calls these guys out. He holds them accountable. And young players don't want to hear that. They don't want to be coached anymore. They want you to just roll the ball out there and let me go do my thing. I don't need you to tell me I'm going to the league. I don't need you to tell me anything. And then when they get to the NBA, and they never get to an NBA roster because they're constantly splitting time between the G League and the NBA, now they wish they had Patino and listen to Patino.
So Patino lost on Saturday. He went to fly to watch his son, Richard Patino, who was coaching New Mexico, play in the round of 32. He lost, and then immediately Richard Patino took a job at Xavier. So he's jumping from New Mexico to Xavier. He and his dad will be in the same conference. They'll play 2 times a year. That'll be interesting.
And that deal was already done before that.
Oh, of course.
That deal was already pre-done. All these coaches who were leaving.
Like the McNeese coach who was going to NC State before they even started playing the game.
See that, that's the argument. That's the argument about the kids being able to leave whenever they want to leave. You know what I'm saying? But it's still a business, and again, it hurts the game. It hurts the game. When coaches leave, it hurts the game. Because if you recruited me and I signed with you, and then you leave at the end of the year to go somewhere else, I didn't come here to play for someone else. Another coach may not see me the same way you do.
Right.
So now that coach may not even see me play. So now I gotta take a chance to come here. Now, do I have the confidence in my ability to say, hey, I can hoop. I don't care who the coach is here. Okay. But these kids nowadays is like, I don't know this guy. He don't know my game. I'm leaving. I'm transferring. I'm going to where he's at. I'm going to NC State.
Well, I was walking, I told you I was covering Illinois. I was in the locker room after the game, and the questions weren't about, why did you lose the game, the turnovers, size. It was about, are you coming back next year? Every single starter is going to, like the Yakachonis kid is supposed to be a lottery pick. He's gone. The skinny freshman, Will Riley from Canada, might be a first-round pick. He's gone. The big kid, Ivasic, he's probably, it's like every program's goes through the same thing. So, you know what it's like in these NCAA locker rooms, a tight little thing. You got all these cameras in there, and everybody's asking the kids, where are you going next? It's not how come you lost the game,
Yeah. What did you guys see out there that was different today? They're no longer basketball questions.
Right.
It's like you said, it's about where you going, how much money did you get offered? Like, how long have you been talking to this team? Are you unhappy with your playing time? Is that why you're thinking about jumping in the portal? Like, they're no longer basketball questions.
It's sad.
It is sad. It is. It's become like TMZ. It's become like it's National Enquirer. People are recording things. People are, we saw so and so talking to the coach from so and so after the game. Is he thinking about going in the portal? It's like, oh my, you can't have a conversation with a guy that maybe coached your dad or maybe coached your brother or someone in your family. You can't say hello to him without someone already assuming, he's going to Clemson. I saw him talking to the Clemson coach. It's like, oh my God.
Hey, you mentioned Caitlin Clark earlier. We should talk about a note that happened in the women's tournament. Juju Watkins tore her ACL, and that was just so painful to see.
Terrible.
That knee just crumpled as she was driving to the basket. And, she's not eligible for the draft until 2027. I don't know why the female players have to wait their full 4 years. But that's what I heard, that she's not eligible for the draft till 27. Of course, she'll be paid well. She already does endorsements, but she's going to have to take a long rehab. Hopefully this won't affect, her ability down the road. But she was going to be, with Caitlin Clark and a couple others, the face of the women's game in the future.
I saw that injury, man. And there was a little contact with the defender pushing her a little bit. Mm-hmm. But, she's a strong lady. She's a strong young lady. So that kind of surprised me. That just goes to show you, like, it can happen to anybody at any given time. Yeah. And you just hope, like, when she fell, I was like, it just reminded me of Derrick Rose. I was like, oh, my God, not again. You just pray that she's able to – rehab is totally different now for ACLs than it was, say, 10 years ago.
Right.
People now come back, you don't even know that they had an ACL injury. So, and she's in L.A. She's in L.A., they're really good doctors and really good rehab people, and she's going to get the best. She's going to get the best care. So I don't think there's going to be a problem with her coming back. It's just, when is she going to come back? And then what's her mindset going to be when she comes back, coming from a devastating injury? Is she going to lose confidence in her ability? Because the one thing that separated her from all these other women, including Caitlin Clark, was her ability to play not like a lady. Like, she can really, she can score. Yeah. She's physical. She can score at every level. And she makes her teammates better. And she's very she's very demonstrative. Like, she loves to play. Mm-hmm. And so when you watch her play, you watch some of the moves that she makes, you're like, oh my God. Like, she probably could beat some guys with the way she plays. Yeah. And so that's devastating to their program, because they honestly had a chance to get to the Final Four this year. They could have won it. They beat UCLA, I think, twice, 2 out of 3 times this year. And UCLA now is probably the team that's probably favored. South Carolina is always going to be there. Connecticut's going to be there. And all she's got to do is call Paige Bucher and talk to her.
Right.
Paige had those injuries too, and she came back, and they were devastating injuries, like, back-to-back years. And now she's come back and battled back, and she looks really, really good, and looks like UConn's going to be a serious threat.
So we wish Juju Watkins the best in her recovery from that torn ACL. One more segment to go here on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Baseball season getting ready to get going. We'll let you know what we think about the Cubs, White Sox, and maybe get a pick for the World Series when we come back. We mentioned we're recording on a Wednesday evening. Thursday is opening day in Major League Baseball. Cubs already have 2 losses after playing that juggernaut from L.A., the Dodgers in Japan, for those 2 games. Stacey, can anybody hang with the Dodgers? I mean, it seems almost to the point where the commissioner's office has to get involved. They've got like 3 different closers, 8 different starting pitchers, the best lineup in baseball. Best team money can buy is you're wearing your LA hat.
Wow, what a bandwagoner.
I've been LA fan for
please.
Mark, tell him, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen all the lids. Okay, he's got the Orioles just in case.
Talk to him. I only wear certain hats to match the gear. But okay, here's what I'm gonna say about this. The Yankees been doing it for 100 years. Okay, now it's turned the tables now. The LA Dodgers now is the best team the money can buy.
That's for sure.
Okay, people want to go out there and play. You listen. You got a chance to play with a generational talent in a Tony. He's that dude is freaking amazing.
But
he's a modern day.
They own the Japanese market. They got this young pitcher, Sasaki.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to want to go from Japan. They're going to come. I want to play with the Dodgers.
It's shorter flight.
You know what? Other teams should have thought about that. They had a chance to go bid on him. They could have bid crazy money if they wanted that. If they wanted Ohtani, they could have done that. They didn't do it. The Angels had him. The Angels could have, did like what they should have did Luka. Go out there and see what we can get for him. And who's willing to give up a ransom for him. They didn't do that. So, at the end of the day, hey, kudos to the Dodgers. And they locked him into this big contract. Like a lifetime contract. Mm-hmm. So he's young. He's not like he's an old dude.
And they got him on deferred money where he's only making like $2 million a year right
so
now.
They're able to go sign other people. Yeah. They'll give their
sign Blake Snell, Cy Young winner.
Give their front office and the people that are making these decisions credit, because a lot of teams could have the same opportunity to do what they've done. Okay, and you're going to probably start seeing teams just like they did with Billy Beane and the Moneyball philosophy, and all the teams started copying that. You're going to see now teams start to try to get deferred money and try to get deferred money to superstar players. But a lot of superstar players is not going to do that, because you know what? Tony's probably got marketing deals all over the world. He's probably making $100 million just in Japan alone. And he doesn't need it. He doesn't need a salary. So and then no telling what he's making in the United States. We're talking about two different places. He is a godlike figure in Japan. So I guarantee you he's making big bank over there. That's why they went over there and played. You know how much money they made to go probably bring the Cubs, and they played the Cubs? Oh, Jesus.
Tim, you're a businessman. For the Dodgers to defer all this money into the 2030s, isn't that going? When you have to pay the piper down the road, is that going to be devastating for that franchise, or will they be able to keep kicking the can down the road?
It'll end up being a double deferred program. So you're looking at $700 million is the check they have to cut him at the end of this. At that point, right now, they're probably worth $5 to $6 billion as a franchise. They say the franchises grow at about an 8% value per year. It's actually been way faster than that. And baseball, I think, will have a faster recovery period than and outpace the NFL and the NBA in the next coming years.
Why is that?
Because of the way these contracts are going, it's drawing people back to the game, and they're creating more entertainment districts around the clubhouses themselves.
Problem is, though, and Stacey knows this, if you don't have some level of competitive balance, people are going to lose interest. If you're a National League team like the Cubs, even like the Mets or the Phillies who have high payrolls, and you look at the Dodgers, you're thinking, well, maybe we can win our division, but we can't win the big prize. That's not good for the
But they do get in there, and it
base.
happens because injuries still happen, just like what happens in football, and then it falls apart.
The Dodgers lost 2 starting pitchers last year. They still won the World Series.
It could, but this year you could lose 2, and it's the thorn on their side. Well, hold on a second. I'm going to finish the business side of this.
Don't touch me. You don't have to touch me. You don't got to put your hands on me. Just say what you got to say. You don't got to touch me. All right? I don't like that.
All right, you going to send me some pillows with that big cross on you?
Hey, back.
Ow. So is that then when that comes up, that payment, they're going to do it on a loan.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. They'll defer that for another 15 years.
Or the owner will sell before the money comes.
Yeah, and then just cash it out. But yeah,
Mark?
That's what they'll do.
Hey, I'm talking now.
Hey, don't touch me. Don't touch
Mark, here it comes down to this. Is when you're buying and you're out shopping, what are you spending your money on? Are you wasting your money? Are you going out and getting a guy?
Right.
You go out there,
spend wisely.
Spend wisely. You're right. I mean, this team is spent. I mean, Freddie Freeman coming over. I mean, you're getting guys that have been productive, that are continue to be productive. They're good in the clubhouse. They come out every single day and they play hard. Mookie Betts doesn't miss games unless he's actually hurt. Guys want to be in LA. It's nice weather. It's a great place to play. They have that advantage, over a lot of teams, So it's how you spend your money. Don't go if I got the top player, Tony, and then I got the 8th best player over here, but there's still 6 or 7 people in between those guys, but we settle for the 8th best player because he's affordable. Then you want to know why you can't win. Okay, so spend your money wisely, man.
Well, they went out, they signed, after they spent all this money just before spring training opened, they went out and signed 2 different closers. They signed Kirby Yates from the Padres, and they signed this lefty from the Marlins, who was their closer last year, at big money.
Big money.
And it's like one of these guys is going to be a setup man who's used to being a closer. They just can go and get elite talent at every position and be so backed up that even if they have injuries, they're going to be set.
They're not afraid. It's about championships.
Right.
You can tell. It's about winning championships and stacking as many championships before these players go out of their prime. So if they can win, 4 World Series and be like the dominant Yankee teams were, the Red Sox, that's what they're trying to do. And if they got the money to spend, their owner's not afraid to spend it. Kudos to him. I mean, that's a squad.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the local teams, the Cubs and the White Sox? I mean, obviously the White Sox set the record for losses last year. They're just trying to show some level of improvement. I looked at their 26-man roster, and I'm like, whew, they got a lot of work to do. The Cubs got
wins?
Kyle Tucker, but, they still have some holes in their lineup and in their bullpen. You think the Cubs can win the NL Central?
They should run away with it.
Do you think so?
They should.
I mean, Milwaukee took some hits, but
there's the
we've
should
heard
word.
that story before,
Milwaukee is probably best positioned. Reds are best positioned to be the up-and-comers.
Terry Francona as their manager
But
now.
based on players and payroll, it should be the Cubs running away with it. But like I said, the word is should.
You know what? I don't really want to set myself up for disappointment.
Wait, do you like the Kyle Tucker trade?
No, listen, man. It was a good trade, man. It's a good trade. Good trade.
Is it?
Good
Isn't
trade.
he starting now for Houston?
Yeah, it's a good trade. Good trade for you.
Well, the top prospect that the Cubs traded to the Astros, this 20-year-old kid Cam Smith, who was their number 1 pick last year, he's going to start in right field for Houston.
Yeah, he's going to be
And
starting.
people are saying he could be a future superstar.
Isn't he the only guy to ever start
listen.
like 32 AAA games and make it to the pros?
Well, something like that. Yeah.
Oh my God!
But at the end of the day, it goes back to what direction are we going? Okay, are we going to scrap up all these unnecessary salaries, try to get some talent back and start developing and culturing the talent and changing the culture of the team? Or are we going for a win now, window closing situation, and starts going to spend money on people that are not going to be here past 3 years? And then
wait, hold on a second. Weren't you just saying that's what the Dodgers do?
No, but they can afford it though. They're going out getting guys that are legit. Like your Snell and all these dudes are legit Cy Young winners.
Oh, so you're saying the Ricketts can afford it?
Yeah, they can afford it.
Well, they say they can't afford it.
Oh, so that's where it is, because they're not using their non-baseball revenue.
Listen,
another business question.
Go back and get Theo, man. Go back and get Theo. Bring Theo back.
Well, the Cubs have to win this year because it's the last year of Jed Hoyer's contract. So if he doesn't get to the playoffs, they're probably going to replace him.
So let's go back to that business thing, Mark. What did they buy the Cubs for? 85 million, something like that? What are they worth today? $5 billion?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Ricketts have done well.
Can you spend some money?
I would think so.
Okay.
Listen. Cubs,
what are they worth with another World Series?
Cub fans. Listen, you just heard my man talk about the money part of it right there.
It hurts.
Okay? It hurts for a Cub fan. But listen, Wrigleyville is nice. They built all around it.
I like going
they sure
there.
did.
Yeah, they did all this nice stuff around there. That World Series helped them.
Yeah.
And the Cubs have one of the most loyal fan bases in Major League Baseball.
That's for sure.
Okay. Let's not have this attitude that, hey, it took us over 100 years to win our first World Series. Now we won one. It's going to take another 100 years to get another one. So be happy that we won one. Don't take that attitude. You should have the attitude that the Dodgers have, the Yankees have. It's winning multiple. It's winning, let's go out and try to get 2. Let's go out there and get 3. Listen, if you get Theo's number on speed dial. Call him.
Top 5.
Call him right now. Call him right now. Come on back. We were wrong.
So it's going to be like the 70s again, Dodgers and the Yankees in the World Series every year?
Pretty much. That's why I became a fan. I'm a fan of both of them. Seriously, I got one on the National League, America. I got one on the American League. And I'm always
Yankees hat next week.
Yeah, will be. People will tell you. Anybody ever see me out will see I always have a Dodger hat on.
Yeah.
L.A. for Lawton area and the L.A. Dodgers. I told y'all that.
Where's your
And then
Cubs hat?
We've seen the Orioles
Listen,
and
man,
the
listen, man.
Expos.
Yeah, because you know what? I like
White
the
Sox.
old style hats.
Yeah.
I like the old style hats, and I like the black of the White Sox.
Yeah.
Have you seen me with a Cubs hat on?
No, I don't think I ever
No.
have.
I wear Cubs hats
Fans are
when
greedy.
I'm around the
though.
house.
Fans are greedy. By nature, we want titles. We want to win.
Yeah, that's why I said, when you look at the situation this year with all the teams, the Bears fans are rabid, the Bulls fans are rabid. They're like, look, man, we don't want rebuild, bro. We want wins. We want to see results. We don't mind, losing as long as we're going forward and putting a foot forward to make it better, And I think, the Bears have shown that. They went out and got a great coach. They got the pieces now. There's no excuses now. They went out and got all these linemen. They still got a draft.
That's why we're all sucked back in.
But if you're just going off on paper what they've done a remarkable job retooling this whole team and giving it a different face for next year. So they got to be a legit threat next year, at least to make the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to win the division, but because the Lions are still there. And, Minnesota, I think, is going to take a downside. And you don't know what Green Bay is going to do. I still think the Bears are better than Green Bay. They weren't better this year, but I think the Bears are better than Green Bay. So at the end of the day, man, as long as you're going in the right direction, the Bulls are going in the right direction. We're all back. Chicago, baby. We're coming back. We don't have to hide under a potato sack because our teams are not winning. We're gonna be able to show our faces and walk around proudly with our chest out and just growling.
And if you go out to Rate Field this summer, they got a brand new milkshake, the birthday cake milkshake.
Right. Where's that at?
Looks delicious.
Is that the White Sox?
Yeah.
Ooh.
They had a press conference not to announce a player acquisition, but new food items, including the birthday cake milkshake.
I'll be out there.
Drink up, White Sox
fans.
What
do the Cubs offer?
Overpriced
$15
beer and
hot dog.
Is that all?
Yeah. Well, we'll go to Cork and Curry first down on the south side and then head over and grab a milkshake.
You'll be seeing sports fans. You'll see me out there this year. I'll be out there, and I'll be at the Cubs game. I'll be at the White Sox game. I'll be everywhere.
What's the saying? Say hi to a player when you see him in the street?
Yeah. Holler at a player when you see me in the street. Mark just messed the whole line up. Hey, what are you saying? See a player, holler at him.
Keep your pants strong. Is that what it is?
He tried, America.
Just waiting for Stacey to jump in.
He tried, America. He tried. Hey, give him an A for effort. He tried.
It's all about timing.
All right, time for our wrap-up segment. What are we watching? Whispers, what do you got for us?
I was watching Zero Day with
it was
Robert
good.
De Niro.
I saw that too.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Think Hollywood got it right again?
Well, De Niro, I thought, was a different role for him, playing, a former president, trying to figure out what happened with the cyber attack on the U.S. No, it was well done.
It was well done.
Hey, we have graphics on that. We have graphics. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, Whispers.
Whisper. There it is.
The tech giant disrupting.
Yeah, they tried to make it look like De Niro was losing his mind, but he was not.
No, he was not. He was right with it as always.
Stace, what do you got?
Well, and knowing that we're going to the NCAA tournament, it's March Madness, I decided to watch One-on-One, the old flashback.
Robbie
one
Benson.
of the greatest movies for young hoopers like myself growing up. I was probably only about 7 years old when I saw this for the first time. And I tell you, I've been a big fan ever since. And I just found it on Paramount, and I decided to watch it because I got my nephew here, and he'd never seen this before. So I wanted him to see, this kid and what it was like to have to be a star player on a high school team, then go to college, and then the coach has you like he loves you in a minute, and then you're just another face. Like when he walked in, when he got to the campus, he got, first of all, Melanie Griffin stole his money for him. She told him she's going to yell rape if he didn't give her all his money. So he's running, a country kid from Colorado. He runs into all these little pitfalls, trying to get to L.A. He gets to the office. And he walks in the coach's office because the coach told him, hey, when you get to L.A., come to my office. So he goes in, Robbie Benson goes into the office. His name is Henry Steele. So Henry Steele goes into the office, and the lady goes, oh, you can't come in here without a meeting, without an invitation. Well, the coach told me to come and holler at him when I got here. And then the coach turned around and looked at, who are you? I've never seen you before in my life.
That's a problem.
Oh, my God. So then from that point on, the coach was like really like hard on him.
Wanted his scholarship.
Brought a guy.
And that stuff happened.
Brought a guy in there to beat him up, and make it so difficult for him. Took his money, all this stuff away, his car away from him to make him quit.
Yeah.
And he refused to quit. And then they tried to get the teachers to flunk him. And he was taking a tutor, which is Annette O'Toole. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I had a crush on her at 7. Oh man, she's a gorgeous lady. Even gorgeous now. She aged like a fine wine. I think she might be about 72.
You all right?
She might be 72 right now. She's old, but she looks good. She don't have the red hair. She had the red hair.
How about Melanie Griffith?
Now, who?
Melanie Griffith.
She looked better in the movie. She's aged.
That wasn't even acting. Stealing money from an actor.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm sorry. I'd say that.
Wow. That's terrible, man.
Oh, wow.
But I think she was like about 16 or 17 in that movie. That was her first movie she'd ever done. She was only in there for like probably about 2 minutes, but it was a memorable 2 minutes.
Okay.
Already an old pro.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
If you're looking for something from the sci-fi world, check out Paradise on Hulu. This is a kind of a strange thing where it's supposed to be after an apocalyptic event, a tsunami basically destroyed the world, but the U.S. got lead warning on it, so they took about 25,000 people and moved them into an underground city in Colorado. It's pretty crazy.
So like Fallout then a little bit?
I don't think I saw that.
You didn't see Fallout?
No.
Oh, Amazon crazy movie
Fallout
or series.
Good.
I mean, yeah, it's
Fallout's
crazy.
good. The guy, what's his name? Walter Goggins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's good in that. He has like no nose, like Michael Jackson.
Now he's in the White Lotus.
Oh, that's right. The White Lotus is new.
Yeah.
The new episodes.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the season 3?
I've been watching all of it. Yeah.
How is it?
It's fantastic. It's just as crazy as the other ones. It's great.
Well, you get a double recommendation from Whispers.
And then
well, no, you got to wait till it's done though to really, to bring it up.
You got to
in
binge watch
the
it.
wrap up here.
You got to binge watch it. Reacher's back, baby.
Yeah.
Reacher's back, baby.
Yeah,
the finale.
Oh, the finale's coming, baby. If you ain't seen Reacher season 3, you better go watch it because it's really, really good.
Well, I think we've done about all the damage we can, so hopefully you can follow Tim's NCAA picks. You gonna post those somewhere? What?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to sell some hot sauce? Come on in here and sell some hot sauce,
sell
Steve.
some hot sauce.
You're good at this.
Yeah, Tim, how can they get some hot sauce?
Oh, wait a minute. Dun, 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 dun. Before we talk about Give Me the Hot Sauce, I get a phone call today from a friend of the program, Ari Spears. He calls me from California.
Yeah.
He's called me like 3 times.
Show me the money.
And so, so he's been tracking me down. Finally, I answered his call today because he called me when I'm in a game, and I said I got to call him back.
Yeah.
So he calls me before I come to the studio. He said, Stacey, he goes, I need some more of that red hot sauce.
Nice.
And he goes, that is the best hot sauce I've ever tasted. He goes, I go over to Whole Foods. They got this dish that I like. And he said, I put it on there and it just takes it to another level. He's like, come on, man, hook me up with some hot sauce. So he ordered 10 bottles of hot sauce. We're sending them out to my man, Ari Spears.
Oh, nice.
And he's getting them.
Celebrity endorser.
And he's going to endorse us too. He said he's going to put us on Instagram. He's going to actually give us a plug, which will help us out. Because, it's not just for the regular people. It's for everybody.
So what's the new codes? You got something going?
Codes are still there. You still get half off of the 1871, half off the barbecue, free shipping. Use all the codes. Load up. Summer's coming.
Especially with the barbecue
Give
sauce.
me the
Barbecue season
hotsauce.com.
Guys, I'm telling you right now, it'll be some of the best sauces that you've ever tasted. If you have not tasted it out there, America, get you a bottle, go online and get it. And I tell you, it'll be the best hot sauce you ever tasted.
And we signed up for a couple of shows to hit too, Rib Fest and so forth. So
Great.
Yes, we'll be on the road. We're taking our show on the road with the hot sauce, and I think we're going to Hooters, and we're setting up a table in Hooters.
Selling out of your trunk.
They don't know we're coming yet.
They
Bro.
don't know we're coming. We're showing
there.
up at Hooters, baby. Woo-hoo!
All right, until next week, we appreciate you joining us for a new episode of Gimme the Hot Sauce. Stacey's going to be home for a couple of days, and it's back on the road.
Oh, another breaking news. Mark Sinowski will be doing the Bulls game.
Oh, that's right, Monday.
In Oklahoma City. And we have another surprise guest on Saturday's game, Neil Funk, the great Neil Funk.
Is that right?
Neil Funk is doing Saturday's game. I just found
Wow.
out today. Neil Funk is doing the game on Saturday. Adam is going to a wedding in California.
Yeah, they play Dallas.
And so we play Dallas. And so Neil will do that game. You're going to do Monday's
Monday.
game in Oklahoma City. So we have guest appearances from the great Mark Sinowski and the great Neil Funk.
Wow, that's a tough act to follow. I'll have to work really hard on that. Until then, folks.
Drive home safe to Chicago. BB.
He didn't come for the massage. He came for the facial. Don't shoot him. Does anybody know how to post videos to Facebook? There's a block right behind you to get the invitation. That's a huge three. Mustard. Lonzo left alone. Give me that sauce. Able to swerve, bend that corner. That's the last time I'm going to say it. Williams straight on.